was up in the air what was happening during COVID or right after COVID or whatever.
Well, he got that lost the weight. He lost all the weight.
Yeah, he lost weight and he got a house too.
Nice.
Bought a house.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, someone bought a house.
Woo!
Welcome to Rock Players, yet another week. We have some awesome guests, and they're already full on bantering. So let's give them a warm welcome. Say hello to SPG. How you doing, man?
SPG.
How are you doing, mate?
Doing good, man. Doing good.
Been playing anything fun this last week?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been playing. This game will run on a baked potato. I found out, but I'm playing Ghostbusters Remaster. I never played it back in the day. It's got all the original voice actors and stuff, and
that's just perfect.
It's nostalgia. It's like a sledgehammer.
Awesome.
It's amazing.
And we have mostly Martinez.
Woo!
Hey, man, what have you been up to since last time I saw you? Been playing anything
fun? Man, finally feeling better from COVID. So yeah, I was feeling so bad from COVID I couldn't even game. So that was like horrible. But I'm finally feeling a little bit better now, and I started getting back into some Destiny 2, getting ready for the new expansion that's coming out this month now. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've been doing besides doing some Switch gaming with Hezekiah, which he's 6, so you switch a game every like hour. So
Yeah, awesome. I know the feeling. Ray, welcome to the show. What have you been up to? What's cooking?
Been playing a lot of Battlefield. Been playing a lot of Monster Hunter. I jumped back. I've never finished Watch Dogs Legion, so I've been back in that, playing that, trying to finish that game. And I can't wait. Hogwarts is just around the corner, so I'm waiting for that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's gonna be great.
yeah.
And then of course we also have
Oh, flipping heck, Tucker!
was waiting for the opportune moment.
I know. I'm sorry.
Hey,
do you know what? I was here early. Well, a minute before, and then my PC went, "Oh, you need to restart to install this update for your sound driver." And I was like,
Wow.
So yeah, apologies for that. Tech
Yeah, no
stop
worries.
play.
I mean, I spent 1.5 hours before the show trying to get some like my streaming setup working so I could do a stream for an hour. But yeah, that went nowhere because OBS decided to mess with me for 1.5 hours straight. So yeah, I feel you.
You feel, yeah.
It's
I
one of
feel
those days.
you. Yeah. How are you guys? Good to see you all.
Good.
Yeah, good to see you all.
I recognise those two chaps down. I haven't seen him around for a bit though.
Yeah, he's been sick with COVID. So,
He got well with COVID. He had COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he's you've lost a bit of weight as well, haven't you, from it?
I lost a little bit of sleep, a little bit of weight, a little bit of sanity.
he lost a little bit of everything. It sounds like.
Yeah, you were here. Was that the first dose of COVID that you'd had then? Was that the first time you'd had it?
Actually, no. So I got COVID like kind of right at the beginning of the year when it first kind of was coming out. Whatever that's been a couple of years ago now.
Yeah, 3.
And so then I thought, hey, I'm free and clear, don't need to get into the semantics of it, but fully vaxxed and boosted, just to do it. My whole family did it, and we all got it again. So yeah,
Ouch.
and it was still rough, man. Oof. Yeah, as rough as the first time, I'd say.
Oh dear.
man.
Well, I'm glad you got through it though. Good to see
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hideous
Good to
stuff.
see you, man.
Thank you.
But yeah, guys. Before we get started with the fun stuff, let's, as always, I like doing this because it's the Rock channel and he has some amazing giveaways going on. There we go. Rock,
Yes.
tell people about what's happening here.
Thank you. Yeah. So as well as the normal day-to-day giveaways, and tomorrow is Team Rokk Friday, so it's a special day. We give away exclusive games to Team Rokk members. Coming up now, there were going to be 2. There was going to be Hogwarts Legacy next week. So Hogwarts Legacy comes out on the 10th publicly, but if you've pre-ordered or pre-registered, you get it on the 7th. You don't win it on the 7th with me, you win it on the 10th. But that one is coming out. So on the 10th, we're giving away Hogwarts Legacy. on I think on any platform, plus or is it PC only? I can't read because we get shown a very low res screen where everybody else gets a beautifully high res
No,
screen.
no, it's I have it on the other screen. It's any platform
There you
plus
go.
60-day subs for Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, PlayStation Plus
Awesome.
Premium, or GeForce Now Ultimate.
That's the fella. So that's next week or the week after. Then in early March, March the 3rd, I think it is, we've
6th.
got 6th, thank you. We've got The Last of Us Part 1 for PC. This is the deluxe edition
Nice.
coming to the PC for the first time. I cannot wait to see how good that's going to look with the whole RTX thing and just
Yeah.
absolutely stunningly gorgeous. That's assuming it has RTX, but even if it didn't, it would still look good. And
I still haven't
then,
played it, to be honest.
Yeah.
what, the original Last of Us?
No, I haven't.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've
never played it
even had
either.
the
Wow.
I even got the PS3 edition in a goodie bag on a Sony event at one point, and I never got around to it.
Seriously, yeah,
Yeah.
I played it first on the PS3. I got it. Who was it doing game rentals back then? Who was the big one? Blockbusters.
Right.
So,
Blockbusters.
they sent it to me on PS3. Then they went bust, so I kept it.
Nice.
I
Yeah,
was gonna say, don't tell them that, but they don't know.
they don't care, and I don't either.
Yeah,
And then at the end of April, what was going to be the March giveaway, but they pushed it back a month, Jedi Survivor, which is Star Wars Jedi Survivor. So there you go, 3 months of mega giveaways all coming
Great
up.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
and just go to rockshow.com to enter,
Yep.
ROKK show.com if you haven't already done that.
Exactly.
Thank you.
And speaking of giveaways, there's also going to be some giveaways at the end of February on I think behalf of probably all of us through the Gaming for Mental Health event that I'm putting together. So far, we are up to I think around 300 games we're going to give away during that weekend.
Whoa.
And it's some big names in there as well. I mean, with stuff like I have 5 EU PS5 codes for FIFA 23 Ultimate Edition. Same with NHL, donated to me by EA Sports. We have some Battlefield 2042, which I know some of you guys play quite a lot of. Ultimate Editions as well. There's a whole bunch of stuff in there.
That's amazing.
Donated by others and by both publishers and people. So yeah, it's gonna be. Hopefully, I don't know. If you're watching this and you do stream, then hit me up on any social media and I'll get you in. Because I mean, the more the better. I'm trying to fill a whole weekend with just constant streaming. You pick when you want to stream, you pick for how long you want to stream, which charity you want to raise to, as long as it's mental health focused, and you're in basically. And then I'm gonna provide prizes to everyone.
I'm doing soldiers with mental health.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Soldiers
Soldier
struggling
suicide.
with yeah.
Nice.
Which is a great cause.
Thank you.
I will be racing for Team Telia, which is they have a hotline for especially youths here in Sweden, and also some camps and some lobbying for the government to try to improve the policies in regards to mental health.
That's cool. I'm doing Papyrus, which is suicide in youths, basically. Trying to prevent suicide in young people. So yeah, new charity for me, but they're supported by a client of mine. So I've spoken to them. They're a good bunch as well. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, and I think SPG, you were gonna join as well.
Yeah.
You haven't picked a charity yet, I think.
No, I have not yet.
We'll see what you will be rating for, and I think you and I talked about as well, Martinez.
Mm-hmm.
You guys might, you and his guy might do something, right?
Yeah, I think that'd be
Yeah.
awesome to join in for a cool cause.
So yeah, it's gonna be really fun, and just streaming going on a lot that weekend. So make sure you book nothing and just sit and watch everyone has stream.
Hats off to you, my friend, for organising it as well. You've done a cracking job.
It's been a lot of fun, but also a lot of work. It's been especially a lot of DMing people and companies. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and it's getting ever so close. So
Awesome.
But gents, should we go into the news a little bit? Do you think? Just
Yeah,
warm
I
up a
think
little
we
bit
should.
and
Absolutely.
find the stories we want to talk more about. Because there's some really interesting stories that I found this week that I think is going to spark a lot of discussion. But first,
you did. You found some great news this week.
But first of all, let's go with the usual. Let's go on the side this time. Martinez in the focus. There we go. There we go with the screen. Yeah, the GeForce Now news. As usual, we have some. They are celebrating. They are celebrating 3 years out of beta. I managed to figure out because it was like 3 years. They're older than that, but no, it's 3 years out of beta. And since then, apparently over 700 million hours has been streamed, which is quite a lot. So they go on to talk about, some more numbers, how many RTX titles there is, how many games there are, some alliance partners that they have, like all stuff that we know already. There's nothing much new in that regard, but always fun to see some more numbers. And some more promoting, which is a service that is generally great. They're doing some engagement on social media as well, where you can show off how and where you play. There's some rewards for Dying Light 2 players. I'm not playing that personally, but if you are and you have GeForce Now, then you get some.
Yeah, I've got it.
Stuff.
I was a bit. I was telling everybody you could get Dying Light 2 for free, and then we discovered it was actually a bunch of skins and things. So I had to backpedal quickly.
Yeah.
Where do I get that, Rock?
No, when I first read it, I thought the same thing too. So I just kind of quickly saw it, and I was just like, "Oh, sweet."
Yeah. You got to be a premium member to get the premium skins.
Yeah, so rather you get a skin for anyone.
Yeah, including free,
and then
including
premium
free.
members. Yeah, including free members.
Yeah.
And then premium members also get some sort of weapon and a paraglider.
Yeah, why do they call it premium members? I mean, I thought it was ultimate.
Paying members, I think.
Yeah, but I thought they'd settled on calling it ultimate.
But I think since this also
members
includes priority, I think priority member or ultimate member, you can get the extra stuff.
Okay. Well, all members, including free, are getting the first chunk, and then I think the second chunk is ultimate only, isn't it?
Oh, is it ultimate? No. That's weird. Oh well, we'll find out when we get there.
They do. Yeah, it says it somewhere in there.
Yeah. Gamers who upgrade to ultimate or priority get additional rewards, including the paraglider and the scrap weapon.
Could you do a couple of command pluses to just boost your screen?
Absolutely. It's
just for us old blind folk.
That was a wrong PC. I'm doing that one.
Aha! See that, William? All these people with more PCs than they need.
It's more like it's the way I can do this. Otherwise, I can't.
That's better.
There we go. Next up, we have
Perfect.
The February lineup has been announced. We are getting Deliver Us Mars.
Compelling to me.
Yeah, very compelling.
Played the first one. If you played the other one, Deliver Us the Moon.
Yeah, I loved it.
The story's definitely. I want to figure out what happened to Mars.
I know.
Yeah.
That too.
I think the only kind of downside. Did you guys watch the little dev stream? It was about an hour and a half the other day.
No, I missed it.
Oh, okay. It was actually super awesome. They had a bunch of people that was involved across like the couple of different platforms, and behind like the voice acting, things like that. But one thing that they said that makes me a little bit leery, that I was super excited about, is what you just said. And they said they specifically made this one so you don't have to play the first one. And I was like, oh man, I was hoping that it would be like, oh, that's why this connects, and remember this little interaction on this part of the game or whatever. But they said that so I'm hoping that maybe they mean that you don't have to play it, in the fact that they're gonna have like flashbacks or tell you enough that you don't have to. But I was like, oh man, hopefully they do stuff for the people who played the first one.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Do we know if it's popping up on Game Pass Ultimate or anything?
I think I saw. I think it is a day one release on Ultimate.
Oh, it is. So
no
point buying it then.
Yeah, I think I saw it listed. We might get to it later. But I think that might be. I think they haven't announced it fully, but I think it's also semi-listed as like coming soon to Game Pass.
Ooh,
So,
nice.
Might be day one. Might be like week one or something. We'll see. Yeah, February. It's supposed to come today, so maybe it's all already out. I haven't checked.
Check.
Maybe someone can
Yeah,
check it out.
it wasn't on Game Pass as of this morning. So
Yeah, might pop up throughout the day or tomorrow or something.
Yeah.
But I think I read that it's coming.
'Cause,
But we're
somebody-
getting. No, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say somebody purchased it on Steam, and I was like, "Oh, is it on Game Pass?" And then I had to go over and check, and it wasn't there yet. So
According to
I mean, if you
Game
want to
Watcher,
play it,
sorry, Bjorn. According to Game
go ahead.
Watcher, it says now when was this dated? December. Unfortunately, there aren't any signs pointing towards Deliver Us Mars coming to Xbox Game Pass
Oh,
or its
thought I saw
PC counterpart. The game's pre-release marketing has confirmed that Xbox and PC versions are underway without mentioning Microsoft's subscription service, which is interesting. So maybe it's only launched initially on PC.
might be.
Wow, didn't that happen to Stadia? Didn't that where they had we got it late. It launched everywhere, and then we
Yeah.
had to wait to get it. So
Yep.
it
Took
happened.
forever for the moon to get to Stadia, didn't it?
Exactly.
it did.
The actual game.
Yeah. But we're getting some more games this week for GFN. Raiden 4 X Mikado remix. Never heard of.
Very retro-looking title.
That's cool. Season, A Letter to the Future. Is out as well. We have SpongeBob SquarePants and the Cosmic Shake. Which
Of course you do.
was
Jeff,
released
I
a few
know.
days
I know.
ago.
Jeff, my friend Jeff is excited about that.
Oh yes.
I mean,
You got to actually do
SpongeBob
an
has some
early
hardcore
review.
fans. Oh, really? Cool.
Yeah.
But I know SpongeBob have a lot of hardcore fans, so
Yeah.
it's not- I would be surprised if it doesn't do well. We have Superfuse, Delivery Smarts, as we talked about.
I saw a clip of Superfuse. It's like looks like a top-down RTS game.
Ooh, might take a look at that then.
Yeah, it's kind of 8-bit looking as well, isn't it?
Yeah. I
Um,
don't know about the 8-bit. I don't know about the 8-bit.
It might just have been when I was they were showing it zoomed in, so it might just have been a bit pixely.
We have the Perish, they released today. We have City of Gangsters, which is free on Epic Game Store this week from today and moving forward to the next week. So claim that and played. Spellforce, Conquest of EO, new release coming tomorrow, and then we have Immortals Phoenix Rising, the Steam version, because Ubisoft keep bringing their titles over to Steam and then bringing them to GFN, which is, I mean, it is a clever way to get on GFN's Thursday list every week.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why they're doing it. Free marketing.
It's just to get on our show, mate. That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's exactly
We
what
see
it
you, Ubisoft. We see you.
is.
But yeah, and then they also mentioned some 18 more games that they're confirming for dropping during February. On the 6th through to right, it's a playtest. I was like, that's a weird release window. But yes, so from February 6th to February 13th, you can play Dark and Darker as a playtest. You can play Labyrinth of Galleria, The Moon Society on the 14th. Wanted Dead on the 14th. Eldorand on the 16th. Wild West Dynasty on the 16th. The Settlers, New Allies, dropping on Ubisoft Store on the 17th. And that's one I'm gonna take a look at because I do like the Settlers. Then we have probably the biggest title of this month, maybe in this list, Atomic Heart. I've heard a lot of.
And that's it.
rumblings
That's a
about that game.
Ubisoft game too. Is the Settlers? That's a Ubisoft game.
Is it?
Yeah, Settlers is a
Yeah.
Ubisoft game. So first party. It's from the. I think it's Ubisoft Mainz, which in Germany, which is the studio that makes Anno. But it might be another Ubisoft studio because they do have a lot of them. But yeah, those German studios tend to make these strategy games for Ubisoft because Germans seem to love strategy games, and so do I. So I guess I'm part German or something in spirit.
He just loves a good bratwurst.
Yeah, well, I do. It's tasty. But yeah, so Atomic Heart coming then on the 20th. Chef Life, a restaurant simulator. Sounds like something for Cloud Gaming Dad. Then we have Blood Bowl 3, Scars Above, Heads Will Roll Reforged, Above Snakes, Across the Obelisk, which I think is a card deck builder. Captain of Industry, Cartel Tycoon, Ember Knights, Inside the Backroom, and Simrail, the Railway Simulator. I am missing Hogwarts from this list, but I'm hoping that's gonna drop anyway.
Yeah, I
It
can't.
would be a
None of the big
big miss if they don't get it.
Atomic Heart's the only really big one. There was a game on there
I get that.
looking earlier that I thought was so up your street, Bjorn. I don't think it's one of these. I think it's one of the actual releases for this week.
Oh,
Yeah, earlier list.
maybe say they have gangs.
Above, if you go back up.
Yeah,
Sorry.
here's that.
I'm looking on. It might have been Spell Force, or
Look.
it certainly wasn't SpongeBob.
No, I mean that's not one for me. Let's see here. Spell Force. Tactical combat, yes, sounds good already.
Yeah,
I've seen 2 seconds. I'm already interested. Yeah,
yeah.
no, this is definitely down my alley.
There you go. That's
yeah,
Ray's.
yep,
That's Ray's theme tune.
That is not my phone.
That's so funny. You get blamed for that shit.
It was William, mate. It was the last time as well.
You're right,
He's just
that
not.
is a good
He's not man enough to
That's
own
all.
up, though.
That's a horrible ringtone. I would never play that thing.
I thought that
why
was the
he
start
can't-
of Ray's praise.
I don't know why you can't just turn that thing down, you know?
Yeah.
Another game I'm excited about, I just want to throw out there, is that I played Blood Bowl 1, Blood Bowl 2, and I can't wait for Blood Bowl 3. And that's basically role-playing and football smashed together with orcs and
Warhammer,
monsters
right?
and stuff. Yeah, pretty much Warhammer. Yes, exactly.
Warhammer plays football, American football. Yeah,
Yeah.
that is pretty much Blood Bowl. With like you're allowed to tackle, so like you're allowed to kill people.
Nah, you
I
roll
remember.
dice and stuff and do some crazy stuff. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's pretty crazy.
but isn't it like your players can die on the field?
Yes.
And everyone's like, yeah, sure. Then that guy's gone.
Yep. And then you have to get your next man, replace him with somebody, and if that dies and that dies, then you're pretty,
What was the name of that film back in the 70s? Was it Rollerball or something? Where they killed each other in an arena. It was the guy that died recently that was in The Godfather and played Buddy's dad in Elf.
Oh right, yeah, that
I
guy.
know what you mean. Yeah, he
Yeah.
he
Talking about
died
James
at the
Cannery?
James Caan.
James Caan.
Caan.
James Caan.
James Caan.
Yeah.
Caan.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, he can, but he can't.
Yeah.
He
Not
was.
anymore. Not anymore.
But then he
Oh.
can
But yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we went
Not
there.
anymore.
Somebody had to.
Yeah, somebody did that. It's just Joe coming with the bad news. Warner Brothers apparently came out and said they're not targeting GFN at this time. So I guess we'll see.
Hogwarts. Yeah.
Yeah, Hogwarts.
I don't think any of the games that I've got on giveaways have been targeted for GeForce. What can you do?
Yeah, one of those.
Just
I
the
mean,
way
it's
it
got to
is.
come eventually. It's just a matter of time. Might be a long time, but eventually.
may
I think
be.
they gotta get them.
Yeah.
Moving on. We have probably my favorite release of this week. Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition has come to Xbox Cloud Gaming, and with that, touch
You're
support
the
for
one that
game.
asked for it. No.
Yes.
It was you.
I can now play.
I used to play this
No,
game.
I know, it's a
back
good
in the
game.
in my early
Yeah.
PC days.
Yeah, I grew up
played
on
a
this
lot
game.
Of Age of Empires. I love Age of Empires.
Yeah. Like I grew up playing this game. Basically,
I still got
every
my
day for several
box.
years.
I still got my PC box, my old box.
Ooh, I don't.
I still
I
have
wish I
it. I
did.
still have it.
But one of the best things about it is it has touch support. Unfortunately, there is no keyboard and mouse support, and I did reach out to them and ask, and they said the Xbox version supports keyboard and mouse, so you can plug in your keyboard and mouse into your Xbox and play with that. But the cloud version, unfortunately, doesn't at this point. But they are looking at adding, obviously, mouse and keyboard support to all games on xCloud. So it's just a matter of time, I suppose.
I've just
Yeah.
bought Deliver Us Mars. Just to let
Awesome.
you know.
Now you're-
I spent
you're
all
ready.
that time making sure it wasn't coming out for free anywhere before I paid for it.
I saw
Classic.
that they were doing like 10% off too. I don't know if that ended today or not.
Well, the problem I had is I had a chunk of money in my wallet, on my Steam wallet, so I could have.
I
got
hate
it,
that
I
problem.
know. I could have got it 8 or 9 quid cheaper elsewhere,
Yeah.
but I had to use the wallet cash, so
Yeah, I
paid
understand.
full edge.
Joe here. Joe with the. I mean, Joe. Hey. By the way, Joe. There's a link in the description. Just hit that if you want to jump in and chat with us.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
I mean, there's always an open invite to join.
Just nobody waving hard in the back. None of that.
Oh, we'll
Yeah,
be
yeah,
paying
None of
attention.
that. None of that.
But yeah, and I see what you mean about the money incentive not being there for the big devs. Because yeah, GeForce Now is just giving players another way to access the game. But on the other hand, for a lot of people, for me, for example, unless I can stream the game, I can't play the game. So, I mean, if they want me to buy the game from them, they're gonna have to bring it to cloud gaming. Otherwise, I won't be able to play it anyway. So, in a way, I mean, yeah, it's not giving them any cash up front, but they are enabling people to actually buy the game in the first place. So, I think they maybe have gotten used to getting chunks of cash for bringing things to platforms.
It's called exclusives, and not everybody's gonna have this, and not everybody's gonna have that.
Exactly.
You're just gonna have to play where where you can play it, and if you can't,
Are you trying to say we're supposed to buy them all, Ray? Because
Yeah, me and William are in the free every time club.
that's right.
Yeah.
It's free, it's me.
Exactly.
That's right.
believe it or
Yeah.
not, I mean, when I was young, I wanted a Sega game. I'm not gonna be able to play it on Nintendo. I had to get a Sega Genesis, and so I had a Sega Genesis and Nintendo, and I wasn't part of this crowd. I played them both.
Soon, though, one day shortly, it may be 3 years from now, might be 10, who knows? But eventually, it's going to be, do you own the game? Well, let's play, and it ain't going to matter what you got. And that is going to be a very, very, very good thing.
Looking
A very
forward
good
to it.
thing.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
But yeah,
Yes, sir.
they also mentioned in this article that, and they have mentioned this in the past as well. Age of Empires 4 will also come to cloud gaming and also consoles with control support later this year. So yeah, but you like the fact that you can now play Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition on your phone is kind of bonkers.
Cool.
Yes.
And it plays decently. It doesn't play perfect. Like it is a bit clunky, so you can't really be super fast in your reactions. But it plays well enough to do.
So which one you gonna play first? Then you gonna do Age of Empires, or are you gonna do Grid Legends?
I've already played Age of Empires. I've not played Grid Legends yet.
Because that is also on xCloud.
Yes, it is. But yeah, this week on Xbox, and I think I couldn't find they haven't put up a cloud gaming general one. So some of these we talked about last week, like Incluminati. Yeah,
It's easy
there's
for
a
you
bunch
to
of games
say.
coming. A bunch of games coming.
I bought
Alright,
that.
yeah, it's coming to Xbox, but not Game Pass. That's why I got it confused. So yeah, there wasn't anything fun in that one. That one should have been in there in the first place. For you all PlayStation players, if you have PlayStation Plus but haven't claimed the PlayStation Plus collection, you have until May 9th to do so.
I don't know what this is all about.
Yeah, why would it remove that?
I have no idea. The only thing I could think of was that it has something to do with this big March OS release where they're talking of bringing PS5 servers in line. And maybe they're replacing... No, you see, they're closing the entire service. These are all PS4 games, basically. They're all
They
late,
got to be
late
making
PS4
room
games.
for something.
Yeah.
They can't take that has a lot of content, is what I mean, and they can't
Some
pull
great
it down
games.
without replacing it with something.
Yeah.
Who
How about
knows?
some PS5 games?
Well, that's what I'm thinking.
How about some PS5 games? You know, the PS5 has only been out for how long? You know, so let's
2 years.
Let's get some PS5 games.
That's what I'm
Sony.
thinking, Ray, because they're going to be launching the PS5 servers in March, apparently. So my guess is that they're ditching the PS4 games and replacing them with more up-to-date games, just potentially. I was an interesting point that No Time Pete made. about
Yeah.
GeForce Now. I mean, on the QT, somebody behind the scenes that I've been speaking to for the last few days has said to me that they've been speaking to devs that are baffled because they ticked the "please can we come to GeForce Now" box some time ago and their games still haven't made it there. And the question is that down to GeForce being selective, or is it down to a lack of resource on their side in terms
I think
of
it's probably
engineers?
like I would assume it's probably resources, and I'm guessing that's like they have people like you usually do that, but we need you to go down and help with
Yeah.
the rollout.
And
for
I agree, and I think
nights.
if you think about it, Bjorn, when there was a bit of a dearth of games, decent games, last year, they probably had an easier time of it. But now there's so many AAAs and big games coming up. I just wonder whether they're struggling to meet demand. And I don't know that that's necessarily why we're not getting Hogwarts and stuff, because the devs themselves have sort of said, no, we haven't actually put it forward. But I do wonder how much, and it may well be that this is a bunch of indie developers and they're like, guys, we'd love to have your content, but it's, we've got so many games to get on.
There we go, Joe.
Yeah, Joe!
Hey!
Joe!
How's everybody doing?
I was
Doing
thinking,
well,
who's this
man.
talking here? I can't see anything, and nobody's mouth is going, and then you appeared as if by magic.
Well, I think what most people have to wrap their minds around is that GFN is a freckle on Nvidia's bum.
Oh yeah. And
Right.
I mean,
I wish I didn't have to get my mind around that, though.
Well, I mean, for the people that work in GFN, GFN's very important, but for the overall company, I really don't think it is.
I can
not
set it straight.
what
Ready?
We want it. It's much like Stadia. It's not what we want it to be. It's not a console in the cloud. It's not a platform. It is a tool. It's an extension of PC gaming. It's a service, and I think a lot of people forget that.
Go on, Joe.
Yeah.
So here's my 2 cents. If you read the developer documentation on Steam, it clearly outlines what you need to do to be eligible to have your game on GFN, right? But it clearly states in said documentation that A, it's in beta, B, not every game that opts in will be brought to GFN because it's a Valve beta program. They have just partnered with GeForce Now. So the hang-up probably is not on GeForce Now's side of that equation. It's probably on Valve's side because they're only pushing certain games forward. Number 2, there's a lot of Valve and Steam integration that you have to build into your game in order to make it eligible for GFN, and there's no financial gain. You get no extra cash for your game, whether you're an indie dev like me, a AAA, whatever.
Well,
there's no financial incentive.
My last comment was basically focused to the people that say, why don't they just drop that money and get those games? Well,
It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah. It don't.
Then
So-
the basic question, like, is there what's the difference then if you, for example, go with bring the Epic Games version to GFN? Do they have any documentation?
Epic has horrible exclusivity clauses. So if
Yeah,
you
but I
were
mean,
if you were to
can-
publish your game on Epic, it severely limits other places
right,
you can
okay.
publish your game.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wouldn't personally do it, even if I got like an Epic grant or whatever that you can apply for, just because it's so exclusive for your IP.
Wow.
Then I wonder,
Yeah.
for example, because I know also, like, we do know there are some good old games from GOG.com. They have their launcher has some support for GFN as well, but it's only like 6 games or something. I wonder, like, what's happening there. Is that like, do they not just have the documentation ready for people? Maybe.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? I mean, it's pretty clear on at least Steam side, like on the Valve side, what you
Yeah.
have to do for your game. You know, it outlines it. You know, yes, check the box, but you have to have like cloud save enabled, and there's other Steam features you have to have baked into your game for it to work. But it's nothing to like myself as a single person. I'll be able to check all the boxes, quote unquote. You know? So.
And I mean,
Yeah.
it's
You might
and then
have a-
because then you also have the whole, you gotta, like, let Nvidia know that you want to get in, and by dropping them an email, you can just, it's not just check the box, it's also let the
Right.
business devs know you
Yeah.
want to get in, and then they get back to you with because from my understanding, they need to go in and just check right, this game requires what hardware, what like do we need to put, like, say if you want to play this, you need a 3080 because it's like for it to run well, and if you don't have ultimate, we put you to the second best thing, or is it like, now this is like small title that doesn't require much hardware, we can put it on a on a half a 20 series blade,
Right. For sure.
because they do that as well, and then optimize some settings, and then they release it out.
But don't
So it's
forget
not like-
that the incentive for any developer is that there are people, many of us, we've seen it today, who go, is the game on GeForce Now? No, I'll probably won't. I'll probably wait and buy it when it drops in price then. Whereas, so it's an incentive for them because it's a big marketing tool. It's got no cost association, but there is 25 million people who've tried, who have an account with GeForce Now, which means there's a load of those that are going, I don't have the hardware to play this anywhere else.
Yeah.
If I can't stream it on GeForce Now, I ain't buying it. You know, Joe, out of interest, does it give you an option to state if you have a particular timeline that you need to hit? So if you said, for example, I'm releasing my game in May, and I really want it to be up and running on GeForce Now as well as on Steam and so on. Do they give that option, or is it just you tick a box and it's up to GeForce Now?
I mean, it's essentially you tick a box and you have to make sure that the other features that need to be baked into your game are there. And then there's some performance metrics as far as like FPS and stuff like that they want to make sure your game hits. But once you meet all of those, I mean, you could reach out to one of the BD folks over at GFN, but, ultimately, the verbiage in the Steam documentation doesn't make it sound as easy as just clicking the box. Because it's a beta program. They explicitly say that it's not every title that checks the box is automatically going to go into the program. GFN's the first service provider that they've chosen to partner with. So it's very written in such a way that that partnership could end in the future, or they could partner with other folks in the future. I mean, you never know.
So there's a cost element there's some development work. There's clearly some administrative effort because you need to liaise with them, and that means you have to, if you're someone like yourself, Joe, that's pretty much at this moment in time, you've got your empire ahead of you, but right now you're there, you and your daughter. So
sure.
You've only got so many hours in the day, and if you're already concentrating on your key platforms, and you've got to hit certain times, and you maybe don't have the time. But if you're a larger studio, then you just put a couple of guys on the case and see it as but it's so much easier than they had to go through the works to get it onto Stadia, presumably, because ultimately there's no great code change. It's not like having to make it work. It's
the same build of the game. I mean, it's not like they have like a lot of smaller devs when they publish on, let's say, Switch and Steam and this and that. Steam will get updated before the Switch version of something because Switch has to go through a whole recert process, type situation.
I'm sure it'll improve and change. I mean, it has to.
Right.
Right now they're surfing on the whole Ultimate thing. It's big news still. Every single day, as I see, new news blogs and news sites are still covering reviews and so on of Ultimate. But sooner or later, we are going to see people going, well, okay, well, I'm paying the $20 a month, but there's only 2 new games every 3 months that come out that really kick But I mean, they've been announcing even older games like Cyberpunk and Marvel's Thingy of the Sun. They're bringing them all out with the various DLSS 3s and stuff. No Time Pete said, do we think 75% or 70% could be the percentage of the 25 million subs who
on the free tier,
who are paying? Well, if it's anything to go by, the usual metric is 80-20. It seems to work everywhere.
I think it might be a little bit lower though on GFN due to the fact that the free tier is essentially just see if your connection works with the service in general. It's not really usable as something to play on, I think.
No, I agree. It's not a long-term thing, is it? You've got
exactly.
1 hour to play, and then an hour and 15 minutes in, it all starts to go to rat shit. So it's
And then they put you in a queue of like 400, 500, and you're waiting like 4 hours to get in to play an hour.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. It's like it's a great way to see, can I run GFN? Like, do I have a network for it? And then when you realize you do, it's like, yeah, then you upgrade. There's no point in sticking with the free tier unless it, like you just don't, you're not simply not able to. At that point. But then
Ron has apparently been in and spread some sort of kind of toxic radiative poison around the offices of Shadow PC. So we'll see that in tomorrow's news.
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't find any news about them closing. So
no, I don't think they're going. No,
I think it's just an opinion at this point.
I think it's Ron. I think it's Ron being Ron.
No, I will say one thing on this whole situation too. I feel like from the little pieces that I've heard from both sides, from the different devs when it comes to GeForce Now, I kind of feel like it's like when you want to build a building for your business, right, in a city, and you have to like get the permits and everything like that. But then once you actually get through all that, then they'll say, we'll let you build here, but you have to pay for the road from the main road going to your parking lot, type situations. And then it's kind of a back and forth, like, well, will you pay for the sidewalks at least? Who's gonna have to now?
Gutter.
Right, exactly. Who's doing like the wastewater, drains or whatever. And so I kind of feel like a lot of times it comes down to, once you really get serious about getting onto GFN, like, are you willing to put that extra legwork in to make it work?
It's interesting, isn't it? Because with Stadia, the cost that they themselves couldn't really leverage was the hardware. Because network was there. But GeForce Now, it's the reverse.
Yeah,
so they can leverage the hardware, but they don't own the network. So, and that must be a heap of expense.
It's an NVIDIA rig in the cloud. That's all. It's your local gaming PC in the cloud. That's it. Stadia was on Vulkan. It had a completely different hardware. They had to port everything to it.
Yeah,
this is just get it in the cloud and fire it up, and it works just like it does local.
Yeah, like
now
whenever.
Because let's face it, GFN doesn't have a friends list. They don't have a storefront.
Yeah,
they got none of those.
Because they don't, like, that's not what it is. It's
exactly that is exactly it.
GFN is not a platform; it's a service.
That is correct.
Stadia was a service.
It was a platform.
Platform, yeah.
Also, they also got a boost with these TVs now, coming out with these apps and stuff. So they got a boost with the TVs, the phones. There's a lot of places where you can play the GFN app.
Yeah, definitely.
I agree. I mean, personally, I don't struggle to find stuff to play on there.
No,
right.
same.
My backlog is huge again.
You know how it goes though, man. It's damn if you do, damn if you don't.
Yeah, you can't win.
You can't win, because if you get the features, you got to get the games, and if you got the games, you got to get the features. And I'm telling you, all these platforms out here, everybody, somebody's missing this and somebody's missing that.
Yeah, matter of fact, you can have everything but a console and still miss out on playing with a bunch of your friends. It's so complicated, and it shouldn't be. Darn it!
And I mean, no time Pete is saying that you can't rely on. You think you can't rely on game streaming for games you want. You need a console or this PC, and while if you want to play all the big titles that come out, sure. But I mean, for some, like, I don't have a decent PC. I don't only have old consoles. It's like, if I can't play game X for a couple of years, then I guess I won't, and that's perfectly fine. I have 800 other games I can play in the meantime.
And with me, I'm what my wife calls, I'm a game whore. I have to have. I invested in a better PC. I have the consoles.
Yeah, like he doesn't charge either.
If there's a game, thank you, SPG. If there's a game,
he pays.
I'm going to pay, and I'm going to play it somewhere. So like Hogwarts, I want to play Hogwarts. I'm going to play that on probably PC or my PS5, but it's a game that I want. It sucks that certain other people can't play these really cool AAA games, but that's just if you want it, you got to have the hardware.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's also, or patience, because I mean, at some point it's going to come to one of the services.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking too. I think all of these services, whether it's gaming or movies and shows, things like that, I feel like it's really kind of changed like the scene of how people like absorb this gaming or video game movie show content, because there's a lot of people who are willing to be patient if it's going to come to their $10 or $20 a month subscription. You know, like, is it possible this could come to Game Pass? If it is, I have a bunch of other games I can play. Wait till it comes to my service, right?
Well,
or like, then on the other hand, you have situations where you're like, this is not coming to Game Pass, and then are you willing to, you know, you put out the money?
People are really patient. Even in the hardware market, people are patient. You brought up earlier, Joe, behind the scenes when we were talking in Discord about what's the most used graphics card right now, and it's not a 30 series, it's not a 20 series, it's a 10 series. Like, and just because they have a 10 series doesn't mean that their games aren't loading up and playing.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Most people are on a 1080p monitor. I mean, you know.
Yeah, no, for sure.
It's like it's like when I see like, and that's kind of what it comes down to. I mean, as you say, most people are on a 1080p monitor. So when GeForce Now announces like Ultimate, you can now stream 10K, like 4K in like 120 frames per second. It's like, yeah, cool. I can't. I have Ultimate. I still can't because my hardware's still supported. I'm not gonna go out and buy new hardware just for that feature alone.
Well,
at some point I'll upgrade in the future when I need to.
Right.
But the genius of their marketing is that it's going to force some people to go, man, I don't have to buy the hardware. All right, I need the monitor. And then you get the monitor and you're like, oh, this is so awesome. Let me buy the hardware too.
And I think it boils it boils down to who your target audience is. You know, if your target audience is like the latest and greatest and fastest PC and 10K and 5 million frames per second, then like, of course, that's what you're going to cater to.
Dude, I'm like, honey, I can't game on a 1080p TV. I'm sorry. We got to go out. We got to go to Best Buy. I don't care what we got to spend each month or what we got to do, but we need to get a 4K TV. It is, what was it? It was 2020. Honey, we need a 4K. I can't tell the difference, you know, and
he even remembers the year.
I know. Hey, I just want to know when's the link to the Skillshare class on how to do this, because my wife wouldn't be having it. Can I sign up for a class for an online webinar?
And the guy was trying to sell us an 8K TV for X amount of dollars.
See, Ray, you have to be careful. You do sleep sometime. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you do go to sleep.
Like this.
Yeah.
Like, well, honey, we have a new TV.
I think it also comes down to, like, you know how there's like the audio files. They want to listen to music in a certain way, right? There's people that are like super into movies, right? And they're like, I have to watch it at the theater, IMAX, you know, with all the
it also
goodies
makes
and
sense
stuff.
for them to target that audience, because that's the audience that are going to like, the enthusiasts are the loudest of people.
Exactly.
Like,
and so what I was going to say is,
and they're gonna talk so much on social media about how good everything is, and then the regulars are gonna go, yeah, I guess I'll sign up. Why not?
Right. So you think about movies like Batman that came out, right? People are like, oh, you have to watch that at the theater, or the new Black Panther movie that just came out. Right. You know, people are like, you have to watch it at the theater. But then those amount of people versus the people that are gonna eventually watch it on the streaming, like on Disney Plus,
or Pete for becoming a member for 2 months. Thank you, Pete. We appreciate that.
Well done, dude. Thank you.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think that's a big difference. It's the same with games. You know, I think some people are, you know, they're willing to play whatever game on GeForce Now. Maybe, like Bjorn said, it's their only possibility. Or there's people that they just like that. There's other that have a $15,000 gaming PC setup, and they're going to buy that, and they want that local on their hard drive.
But what people need to remember is that it all does the same thing, just at higher qualities. It's like a car that takes you to the grocery store. You know, if it's in working order, it's going to get you there and back. But if you have more horsepower, you can burn out all the way there and, you know, blare your horn. And
I mean, I tell you, they do change their mind, because I remember, and we need a sound bar and we need speakers, honey, so we can get that movie theater. We don't need that. Now
you need that subwoofer.
Turn the sound bar up, honey, and pop the popcorn. You know, to watch movies and stuff, you know. So
that subwoofer made a big difference, didn't it, Ray?
Yeah.
No, he just bought a Chihuahua.
You quiero.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. But guys, there's some more stories I want to get through before we spend all the time talking about Ray's wife.
Wow.
Whoa!
What's happening here?
I'm sorry, Bjorn. I'm sorry.
Goodness.
Hey, just
I'm sorry.
did you guys see that Amazon seems to be really down to Tomb Raider? They are apparently working. The rumors says they are working on. I mean, we know they are funded, like paying for and building together with Crystal Dynamics. The next Tomb Raider game being using Unreal 5. They've now come out, and I think it's semi-official. Sources say, or at least heavily rumored, that they are making a TV series and a movie, and possibly more, and want to kind of make a Lara Croft universe thing. So yeah, apparently they might even be buying the rights of from Embracer Group. Because I mean, Embracer Group bought a lot of things for 300 million, and it seems like Amazon might be paying 600 million just for Tomb Raider's IP. So someone made a good buck there.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Swedes over in Karlshamn. So yeah, are you guys excited for a lot more Tomb Raider?
Yeah, I thought. Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
Rock
I
said
can think-
yeah.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
It's Lara Croft, man. I mean, who the hell's not ready for more Tomb Raider?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be great. I mean, people can say whatever they want about the direction of Rings of Power, but it looked beautiful. It felt
yeah.
beautiful in those worlds.
yeah.
They did amazing work on
Felt
the show.
epic.
Okay,
Felt
yeah,
like,
yeah.
It sure
yeah.
did.
It
Regardless
was.
of what you thought of the material, it
Right.
did feel epic and
Yeah.
grand, and yeah, it looked great.
And so I can't wait to see if they actually follow through with some movies or a series or something like that, to see like this, exploring that is going to be done in this show. I think it's going to be amazing. Some crazy
Yeah.
like splunking and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, the only problem I have is on one hand, I like, because it feels like are they gonna do, like, have one, like the on-screen Lara and the game Lara, or are they gonna try to have the same actress for both of them? And I can see both actresses. Like, I hope they keep Alicia Vikander for the movie, because I liked her as Lara Croft in the movie.
well,
But I
they
also
usually change them though.
yeah, but I also
look
can
at
see
Days
them
Gone.
going.
Like,
Yeah.
if they're
But I
going to do a
don't-
live action of
yeah.
that, and they're
But
replacing
I mean,
Deacon,
she's
so.
already in the latest Tomb Raider movie. I can
Right.
also see them going. Camilla Luddington is amazing in the games. She can play Lara on the big screen as well. Or I can see them going, like, let's keep them separate. And
Who?
like on one,
Who can play Lara?
Camilla Luddington, who does Lara Croft in the games.
Does she?
Yeah, in the remakes. She does.
Oh, right,
She's,
okay. I remember when Keeley Hawes used to do Lara's
Yeah,
voice.
I think that was before. Now it's with the reboot. They got Camilla on
Oh,
board, and she's
okay.
been
Is
doing
she an
since the
actress
reboot.
anyway, then, physically?
Yeah, she's been. I think she had some part in Grey's Anatomy, I think, for a while.
Okay.
So I mean, she's been doing acting stuff, but she's like, I know her specifically from Tomb Raider. And she's a great Tomb Raider in the games. And she
Yeah.
could probably pull it off in the real world as well. But then also, I mean, I liked having Alicia Vikander as Lara Croft. She was a good one. So I don't know how
What's
they're
she
gonna do it. Will they
called? What's
bring
her
another
name?
one? Alicia
Lisa?
Vikander. Alicia Vikander. She's a Swedish actress who's married.
Oh, of course she is.
Right?
Of course she is.
Now we know why he's so interested about it.
Exactly, yeah.
I think she's married.
I've actually
to,
got to run, gents.
Oh,
No worries.
thank you
Take
so
care,
much for joining
Joe.
us, man.
Good to have you on the
Alright,
show, my
Joe.
friend.
Take care, gentlemen.
You can come back anytime.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know
so-
he's been stalking her for years, don't you, Martinez? You
Yeah.
just know it.
I
I bet he's got a restraining order and everything.
She walks
Oh,
her
are we
dog
back,
on
to, are we
Thursday
back to
evenings.
Ray's wife? How did he meet her again? I heard restraining order. I don't know.
No, but like, I think she's married to the guy who played Magneto in the what's his name? Scottish guy who
From Outlander?
he was the guy who made the Assassin's Creed movie. Blank
Sean
on his
Connery.
name. No, it's
Michael
Michael
something.
Oh, McConnor. See, I
Not
I
McConaughey,
agree.
but-
I agree with Purple on this. I'm not so sure about a God of War.
Yeah, Michael Fassbender.
yeah.
Ah,
Fassbender.
yeah, he's Scottish.
Yeah, I think he's Scottish.
Is he?
I think so.
Or Irish. Scottish or
Might-
The
Irish.
last,
one
the
of them.
last Fassbender. That was his main film, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, they are like those two. They've been married for a couple of years. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, God of War. I think I agree. I think God of War might be in trouble.
I think it. I mean, that might be a little too adventurous, given. Did any of you guys watch the Halo TV series that came out?
No, but I've heard lots of bad things about it.
Yes, I heard some bad things too. Like
Only-
as one example, my buddy said that these enemies come in and these regular people not in the Spartan suits are like they got this big minigun and they're shooting and they're not doing anything, no damage, and they get wiped out. And then here comes Master Chief. He picks that gun up off the ground and just starts waylaying everyone. And they're like, "Wait a minute, I thought that gun didn't work." Anyway, it just because Master Chief was holding it, it became I don't know. Just, But I didn't see it, so don't take my word for it.
There was moments of, if you're a Halo fan, there was moments where you got goosebumps. You're like, oh, this is amazing. Anytime you see like your game in live action, even if it's like, Destiny did like some live action, footage like before the game, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
Anytime you like see that stuff, I think it gets you excited, right? You're like, man, this is cool. And you're seeing like a plasma grenade, but like in live action and whatever. But yeah, I will have to agree, even though I definitely go into stuff trying to really enjoy it, there was a lot of stuff that kind of disappointed me. And the story's pretty weird. It's pretty out there compared to the games.
Yep.
And then they bring The Last of Us out just to redeem the whole
and
genre.
that's
Oh man,
That's on a whole other universe.
that is like I'll have to say, just because I'm a Star Wars guy, but there's an actor in there that is a Star Wars guy, and he is fantastic. He really helps make that show what it is. But the casting across the board on The Last of Us just
in
knocks
terms
it out
of
the park.
The Mandalorian, you mean?
In The Mandalorian.
Oh yeah, I love that. That's great.
Yeah, he's
And
actually
Thank you so much for
March,
the donation.
he's a good actor.
March, we're getting a season
Yeah.
3. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exciting.
very
Man, he's gonna
good.
be busy. He's gonna be busy.
I'm
guys,
super
Pete with the
stoked
donation
for-
here.
I'm super stoked for Andor
Thanks,
season
Pete.
2.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I
And
think that's
Gears of
gonna-
War movie.
Gonna be incredible.
Supposed to be in the making. There's a lot of game adaptations going on, and I think but I think the key, like the big thing, to make the next Last of Us TV show. I mean, I've been hearing a lot of Troy Baker has been talking a lot about the making of it. He's been quite involved, it seems, and also he's very friendly. Like he's a good friend of the guys who obviously make the show. So he keeps getting a lot, like telling a lot of behind the things in one of his podcasts. It's really that you can really tell that everyone involved really understands. Like they have the same, like they understand what the core of The Last of Us is, and that's what they're building on.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's stunning.
I think what everybody's kind of talking about in the chat, I feel like that's where a lot of times these like game adaptions into movie, into series gets difficult, is when it gets too mythical, because then when you put that in live action, it's a lot easier to see that it's not real. And the CGI has to really be on point, and that's where a lot of the money is in these types of projects. So I feel like a God of War is going to be very difficult, whereas like Gears of War is going to be pretty tough, but not as much,
Speaking of that, look at what The Last of Us is doing. Now,
Yeah.
they're not showing us the city the whole time. We get a glimpse of it,
Right.
and then
Yeah.
it's character drama. 2 people
That's
in a
true.
room. Think
Yeah.
about it. I mean, but
That's
it's
true.
compelling and it's done well.
Yeah.
I
And
don't
I
know,
think
man. So excited for some of these adaptations.
as long as
coming out.
everyone as long as everyone involved in making, like the writers and the producers and everyone are like everyone is agreeing on, like, this is the core of the story, this is the end goal. Like, for example, the example they did for The Last of Us was like, like if you boil it down, what is The Last of Us really is about? It's about the love of a father has for his daughter, and that's what like and then like you test that out by putting them in this horrible situation, and like as long as you stick within that frame, you can go away from the source material, like do curveball from the source material, and still keep it to that end goal, and then and it will work. And as long as everyone involved knows that and has passion for the source material, it's gonna be a great show.
It's like Ray. It's like the love that Ray has for his wife. You know, I think. I'm Bjorn. I think you need to apologise because you're upset. Ray.
Yeah.
He hasn't said a word
I'm-
since.
Yeah, he's angry.
I'm so sorry, Ray.
Oh,
You can't see it, but he has a stress ball over there.
hey, that's not what he's squeezing.
No, that's black nut. That's
I was just waiting for that one to drop.
You're waiting for it to drop.
He's waiting for it to drop.
Bad choice of words. Sorry, guys.
Fun.
Oh, there's nothing wrong with black nut. It's a great service.
Yeah. Right, where were we? But yeah, lots of Tomb Raider coming. I think I just wanted to clarify something that came up in chat before, a while ago. Embracer owns the rights to Lord of the Rings and to Tomb Raider. Weirdly, how they managed to get all of that quite cheap. But yeah, still, so they own the rights, but they are licensing it out to Amazon. And Amazon Games isn't making the next Tomb Raider games, but they are publishing it. So it's still Crystal Dynamics making it. So it's they own it for now, but there are rumors that Amazon might be buying the Tomb Raider rights just straight up for
Well, they
600 million.
Did they literally buy Lord of the Rings, or did they just license it for a length of time?
Amazon bought a licensed Lord of the appendices of the Lord of the Rings to make the Rings of Power. So it's like they're not allowed to use Silmarillion, they're not allowed to use the Lord of the Rings or the Hobbit, just the appendices, which is, like, if you think about it, not that much content to build up. So I think that.
And are they allowed to deviate? Are they allowed to embellish? Or
Very barely.
Okay.
And they paid, like, I think reportedly 250 million per season for that.
Per
license.
season, and then they spent that
license.
again on just production values.
Yeah,
huge.
I think the budget per episode was close to like $60 million. If you look at like
Ouch.
when the most expensive Game of Thrones episode, they were $10 million.
Wow.
So it's like 6 times a bit. Times, like, it's almost the same price as like the early seasons of Game of Thrones.
I mean,
Per episode. It's
I'm
crazy.
no Tolkien fan, but I enjoyed it. I liked that. But then you
Yeah.
see, I like, because I know that you and William, know it inside out. So I think if you come from it from the place that you guys came, then you're going to see the holes, and it's not going to. For me, I'm almost new to it, so I just took it from what it was.
I've always been the kind of guy who can, like, I can easily see something and, like, yeah, this isn't great, but visually it's cool, so I'm gonna enjoy it anyway. And for me, like I think the Rings of Power managed to capture a lot of the visuals of that world, and that was enough for me to be excited. The story wasn't that great, and I, to be honest, still haven't gotten around to seeing the last episode, mainly because life got in the way. But yeah, I'm gonna, like, I enjoyed it, but I wouldn't say it was a good adaptation necessarily.
Are they doing the
Yeah.
Gollum? Are they doing Gollum as well, or is that something that I've just made up?
No, they're not doing all. SPG, you're muted. We can't hear you.
No, it's
Can't hear me. Woo.
No, now we can.
Are you sure you want to say what you just said again?
No, I already forgot. No, the Rings of Power. Okay, there's a lore behind it, which is like a history. Like if you had a history book, A to B to C to D, all that stuff. But if you go way back and you look at the creation of the world, it doesn't make sense. I mean, I've read it a few times. Okay, I don't quite understand it. I can't wrap my mind around the mythology, the symbolism, the whatever you want to call it about his creation myth. Because he created a myth for his world, much like how the ancient Indians say we were a turtle and
Right.
the planet was a turtle. Anyway, it's much like that. But the further you go back, the less it makes sense. So I'm not so caught up in the minutia of the lore that I can't enjoy a new story in that world.
Yeah.
Because we're never getting gospel stories anymore, so to speak. Because J.R.R. Tolkien is dead, and his family didn't continue the torch the way he would have wrote the story. So it's very much up to interpretation at this point, and everything is fan fiction.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it. And yeah, it wasn't the absolute greatest story, but the things that they did tie in, if you're familiar with the adaptation that what's his name did, Peter Jackson, it ties into that quite well, more than actually the original story. So
Yeah, I think they definitely managed to capture like the feeling of the Peter Jackson movies, and
yes,
and I love them. So why not? I enjoyed Rings of Power. Simple as that. I wouldn't say it's not going to win many awards for the writing, maybe, but I don't care. It looks cool. That's good enough for me.
Yeah, they had some great cinematic moments, and I think that once again, casting was really good on it, and I feel like you were able to care about the characters, and I think that's what makes anything great. And so I feel like once you start kind of caring about the characters, and I love the way they tie in like the different flashbacks to kind of give you the story along the way.
Like, I think one misstep, it was them bringing up Morgoth, because a lot of people don't understand what any of that is. They should have literally started this the way they started Peter Jackson's, where it started with the end fight. And then, it should have shown him being drugged back in chains, I think. But I think they did a really good job for what they could do.
And I'll be honest, I'd much rather we talk all night about Ray's wife and boring old bloody Lord of the Flies or whatever it is.
I think he's done talking about that.
He's done, full stop, bless him. Come on, Ray. Did you ever into the Lord of the Rings? Oh, it's me now. How come I've gone center stage? What's going on? Ray doesn't want to be center stage. Look, he's sulking. Let him get on with it. He's Tolkien sulking.
There we go. Did you guys see this? It was actually Purple Haze who I see in chat who put me onto this story. Google Cloud announced that they have partnered with Nintendo. And they actually partnered with them back in 2021. And it's not for cloud gaming yet. Who knows? Might be in the future. But I think they have a picture down here that shows it quite.
Hang on, I was reading that Japanese. Slow down.
Yeah, no, you weren't. Shut up. There we go. It's like for so like if you have. That one. That was the image. So they have. It's basically for multiplayer games. They're using Google Cloud Backend, and I think also for the store. So like this. So if you download a game from the Nintendo eStore, it's being sent through from the closest Google data center, essentially. Being downloaded from there. It's not being downloaded from Japan. And Google handles all that, and they also do cloud load balancing for multiplayer servers and all that. So obviously, like they started working on this back in 2021. It went live back then, but now they're announcing it fully as like we've been doing this for 2 years. What do you think? Do you guys think we'll get some Stadia tech in there soon?
No.
Nintendo, no.
No, I've seen no sign at all of any Stadia tech anywhere.
At least they're working together. So there's that, and Nintendo do have their own cloud gaming. Service, which is
like Sony, they're very protective of their hardware sales as well.
Yeah.
So I can see them having a kind of cloud halo, but I can't for a while.
Yeah, I don't think
can't
they
see
will
mass
go
adoption.
No.
There's no point.
No, but I mean, I can see them going for these games that we can't run on the Switch, so we already run through cloud. Can we make them run better if we use Stadia Tech? I can see them doing something like that.
Well, clearly clearly they are, but they're using it for delivery of services within the game rather than the games themselves. Although they have got some games they've delivered via cloud, haven't they?
Yeah, they do have cloud streaming for some games, and I'm thinking maybe they can leverage those games and make them perform better by switching to Stadia Tech, because I know some of these games are games that were on Stadia. So
I just don't. I mean, we talked about this the other day, Ray, didn't we? The immersive tech stuff. It's just there's no trail for it anywhere. I'm not seeing anybody mentioning it anywhere.
It's actually cloud gaming, not for cloud game streaming. Purple, I think. Could you elaborate on that, or if you want to get into
Even
it,
better, yeah. Click on the link
Yeah.
and join. We'd love to have you in the
Yeah,
show.
yeah.
Absolutely love to have you on the
Um,
show.
But yeah, Nintendo uses Ubitus for cloud gaming currently, yes. But I mean, for example, I know Resident Evil Village is on,
Yeah.
on
Mhm.
Switch, and I think, if I remember correctly, it's been not very well criticized, that cloud streaming version. So maybe they would do well in switching to the Stadia version, essentially. To keep it
Mhm.
like, I mean, to the. But yeah. What I can see said, they just said it's very important. Please watch the space. Okay, so
Yeah.
something might be. Okay, that's teasing.
I think that it is very important to be watching because obviously Nintendo's a big player that no one really talks about because they're just number one. You know?
Yeah,
It's
I
like,
mean,
like
Nintendo's
whatever.
Nintendo.
They only
but-
got like Zelda and
Yeah,
Mario.
It's like
Yeah.
whatever they put out is
Smash.
going
Not
to
that I
be
like
bought,
Mario, but-
right? So I think it's like they're super behind, obviously, but they do make movement. It's just very, very slow because
Yeah, yeah.
they don't have to make fast movements. They don't have to
Nintendo-
redirect because they made a big mistake. Their big mistakes are successes for most companies.
Yes.
Yeah.
So look at it this way. Look at their hardware.
Mhm.
Nintendo doesn't care. Will it give? Will it do what I want to give you? Woohoo! Here we go. We're
Yeah.
selling consoles. Like they don't care about
Yeah.
hardware, what the specs are, and they can squeeze every last little bit of performance out of it as well. Nintendo's
Yeah.
an incredible company, man.
I mean, my like I mean, I will give the choice between like playing Fall Guys through Boosteroid or playing Fall Guys on the Switch. My son picks the Switch,
Yeah.
and I don't understand why, because I prefer playing on through Boosteroid. So it's like I don't know, they're doing something.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, definitely. But speaking of Nintendo, did you guys see that Nintendo, Xbox, and PlayStation has basically said that, according to a rumor at IGN, that they won't be part of E3?
Mm.
So none of them are coming to E3 this year.
They're gonna do their
Last year
own
was
shows
only
again?
Xbox. Yeah. And last year, Xbox did put their show as part of E3, I think. But this year, it's like, no, we're just not. No one is coming. Oh, Purple is backstage. Yes.
Yay! Awesome.
Hi, Purple.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
How are you?
Good, how are y'all? I literally delayed a meeting to jump on here.
Oh, bless you. Well, we're honoured. It's an absolute
Yes,
treat to
definitely.
have you on. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think, I did a video of this recently, just, throwing it out there, seeing what everybody thought about it. So thank Bjorn for picking it up. I think what it is like when you go through it, like what builds a cloud game, right? Like what makes the cloud work, right? To me, that's what this is talking about. Like when you think about cloud, like using the cloud to do cloud computing,
Yeah.
that is what this,
Kubernetes and stuff.
right? That is what this is at. And what was like a kind of a very interesting part of that translation, that the Nintendo engineers talked about was we are currently working on several games utilizing this technology, utilizing the cloud.
I missed that when I read through the article.
Yeah, so that's what
Well,
they
it
were
was in
and they-
Japanese. You weren't supposed to.
Yes. Google Translate works decently, but apparently not good enough.
Yeah.
Me too.
And then I think that the next part that I thought was very interesting was that they were looking to expand that partnership. And I don't want to take I can't seize fire away, but if you saw it in the chat, I think Ubitus, him mentioning that that's who does their back end, very interesting. And I think if we do see anything with a Google, Nintendo, and a Ubitus, I think that starts to point towards a certain direction. Not going to say that's what we're seeing right now, but gaming it's a long runway, right? And for anybody who's kind of still puzzled about the Stadia shutdown, I think this is starting to give a signal about why Google did what they did. I think they're changing. Obviously, they changed directions. They killed the thing, but potentially it's not all lost for those fans of the platform and the lessons learned from the platform.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think that is
mean-
really important that I can't see you brought that up, because if you actually do a little research on Ubitus, if that's how you pronounce that, it's very interesting, their take on the future in general, but what they claim to be and do. You know, so I think that is exciting when you think about what their whole company like stands for, and then partnering with Nintendo. It is pretty exciting, you know, to kind of think about that partnership, because it's really difficult to have somebody like, let's even think Jensen Huang, right, from NVIDIA, super into like the future and cloud and things like that. So when you start seeing where these companies are coming from, and then when they're making partnerships, it's very difficult when one company is saying cloud's where it's going, you know, to partner with someone else that says, I don't want to have anything to do with cloud. That partnership's not going to work.
Yeah, and I mean, it's like whenever I feel I need to get excited about cloud, I always go back to Aaron Hoffman-John's presentation from GDC, or like the Google's internal presentation. I think that year 2, I think it was, when she showed off the Kubernetes, like using Kubernetes to load balance. Like, here we have a simulation, we throw as much into the simulation we can, FPS goes down, and then throw on load balancing, just evens out throughout 4 different servers. Like that demo always makes me excited for cloud gaming, because that is like the doors that it opens up. Can't wait to see what happens with it. So far, it seems to be going quite slow, but also it is quite new tech, and it takes years to build something like that. So I get it.
And there's rumors that there's going to be a Nintendo Direct next week. So we'll see it. We'll see if that pans out, and if anything exciting
Probably
happens.
not that soon, though. I think it'll take another year or two before we see the fruits. Of this, but...
don't hold your breath. But
yeah, I think that's gonna be Zelda.
Yeah, definitely. They got to have something about Zelda. It's coming up too quick.
Yeah, this summer.
When's it being released?
May, right?
June, I think it is.
Oh, is it?
I think it might be June. Maybe I think it's June. Went through over this a few weeks ago. I think it was a June release. But yeah. But I was like, but so with everyone doing their own shows now, and E3 not getting any of the big three, do you think E3 will go under over time, or shift into something completely different? Do you think there is space for like big trade shows like this for consumers? Hey, Vet.
Hey!
What's going on?
Hey!
How did he get in here?
They let anybody in these days.
I'm like a ninja. I just
He like
sneak
kicked.
in.
He's like, hey, excuse me.
I'm like,
How
I
is
said it, like
everyone?
I'm like a ninja. I just show up at the weirdest times.
Ninja on vacation over there.
Hey,
Yeah.
You know what? I'll take this over what's going on outside
Hey.
Minnesota.
You ain't hiding in that.
I'm hiding. I'm
You ain't hiding in
trying.
all that white snow, buddy.
I'm trying. I'm trying to get away from this crap. So what I miss? Anything? Anything good? No, I'm just kidding. I've been listening the whole time.
Yeah, awesome. But yeah, so what do you think? E3, will it exist in a couple of years?
No. When's the last time it existed? I mean, let's be real.
Before
Fair enough.
COVID.
Yeah,
The last
pre-COVID.
one Before COVID, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's kind of doing their own thing. I'm not expecting it to be a thing anymore.
Do
It
you
may.
guys miss it? How about that? That's a question. Do you miss the regular
Yeah.
E3?
I miss what it used to be. I mean, when everybody attended it, you know. But I can reminisce on that. I can go on YouTube. I can look up, you know, I can watch the events for the E3 events from the '90s, and be like, oh, that's what it used to be, and then watch what it was the last time and be
I
like,
think
oh.
I just miss all the information in one place. That's it.
Yeah, it is. It's a pain in the butt to have to go to. Okay, let me go to this one, then this one. Let me find the other 4 different events, and then put them all together. And then go onto a podcast to watch to see if somebody has all the information from every 15 different shows.
Yeah, and I did, and while I enjoy having this like week of just news overload, it's fun. I kind of enjoy it. While that is more fun, I do prefer it to be more spread out because it's easier to take it all in, and harder. Like it's so easy to miss things when you get like 50 new game announcements in 2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think one big difference though is E3's been out for what, like 20 some years, something like that. And like as like the world changes, the way that people like receive their information has changed a lot. It's a lot easier for people to get that content and leak it. And I feel like that's a huge letdown for the devs. And they've said it multiple times.
You also got to think the attention span of the current gaming generation of gamers.
Yeah,
it's not what it was 20 years ago. Now it's like 6 seconds and then they move on to the next thing. I mean, if they could get their show done in do
you think Xbox?
I mean, that's not to be silly, but it is because like
do you think Xbox wants to be on a show with PlayStation after what's going on with the whole acquisition stuff going on?
Well, there's that too.
Yeah,
Xbox doesn't want to be on
that plays
front and center at all.
That's true.
They don't want.
Yeah, they want to be in the background, like, oh, we don't got no games, like. We're screwed over here. Like.
I mean, Xbox is apparently going to have some sort of a showcase show with like aligning roughly with the event with E3, but they won't have a booth on the show floor, for example.
No, they won't have any. They already announced. They made that announcement.
Yeah, they've announced they will not have a booth on the show floor. Neither will Nintendo. Neither will Sony. Who will be in E3?
I mean, when's the last E3 Sony was at to begin with? I mean,
yeah, I think
Nintendo does their own thing, so does it really make a difference? I mean, like we said, E3 hasn't really been that big of a thing since probably the early 2000s.
Yeah.
I mean, even early mid 2000s. I don't know the last time it was just this massive event because you've got all these different smaller ones that are starting to pull the big players now. That are doing better than what E3 has been doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, you're right. I think it's gonna be. But like, do you think Gamescom will go the same way over the years? Last year Gamescom was kind of huge.
Eventually, I mean, I think one will replace. You know, you had E3. Something's gonna Gamescom replace that, or what? You know, something will always replace the next big thing. It's just how it works. It's the way gaming.
So we're gonna have another Summer Games Fest spread out over
probably
3 months, and then ending with Gamescom. Then
yeah, probably. I mean, somebody will do it. I mean, if E3 wants to be big, you know, all they have to do is get The Rock out there. I'm just saying.
What am I going to do about it?
Yeah, what is he going to do?
Get Adam on the stage.
Make sure you got your fanny pack and your turtleneck. And you'll be set.
And your protein powder. Don't forget your protein powder.
It ain't no turtleneck. That's just an old man's throat.
Ray's like, why did y'all let Bet on the show? We were having serious discussions. And look, it just went downhill the moment he showed.
Oh, man.
You guys were, too. I mean, Purple was on there having a serious debate. You know,
I know.
Mm-hmm. I show up and everyone leaves. And
well, I'm not.
Well, not all of us.
I'm not leaving because of you, Bet, but I do have to go.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us.
Downgraded the intellect of the show.
Absolutely, man. Had fun. Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate
Take care,
it.
mate. See you next week.
Thank you for being
Cheers, William.
Oh, I thought everyone was leaving, and it was just going to be.
Well, there was a couple of us on our way out, mate.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, he can't leave.
No wonder I didn't get the invite.
Yeah.
Rock's like, hey, we got to make sure we change the code so that doesn't happen. Give him my key.
Well, we should be getting Ant any minute.
Yeah,
soon.
Ant should be joining any minute now.
Yeah.
I think Ray's connection dropped. Did he drop fully?
Oh, no,
Did
did
it? That's the Bet effect.
Yeah.
I seem to have that a lot with people.
I'll take him off the screen in the meantime. Definitely out of that. What's going on?
I thought you put like an image to replace Ray, and it was just a grumpy old man. What happened to Ray there?
There we go.
Oh man.
Uh,
I mean, you could just put a grumpy old man and it would
Oh, bless him.
But yeah, guys, for the final story that I was thinking, I'm guessing you all saw the myriad of different closures happening this week. Creta is shutting down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Um,
saw that. They even called their fan base cretins. I thought that was kind of. I mean,
But that's a
Yeah,
weird
and
one
they-
because Facebook bought them. They bought the
Yeah.
entire studio. So
They
it's,
did,
it's
and then
not
they
Creta
said,
that's closed down. Facebook has closed them down. I mean, they
Yeah,
own them.
or-
It's
I
a
wonder
division
if
of
what they
Facebook.
said, in
Yeah, I
the announcement was basically we've been thinking about this for a while, and now that Stadia has closed, which is where we launched in the first place, it
Yeah.
feels like this is the time to do it.
That doesn't
We're-
make any sense. They were bought
See,
by
that-
Facebook.
I think the
but
game
that,
is
that's their statement doesn't add with
No.
who owns them. That like I would understand if they were their own thing. I would have.
Yeah, they don't have a
understood
choice. You're right.
I would have understood using the Stadia closing. Yeah, we're gonna close down.
Yeah,
But let's be real. You guys are owned. Facebook bought y'all out.
yeah.
So to use that statement to try to pin it on Stadia shutting down.
Yeah, no. I mean,
you
it's.
guys had no choice.
Totally.
Yeah, I think it comes down to it was costing them quite a like service costs to keep maintain, and I mean especially for games as a service game that is also free to play, they needed
They're
like
not-
their people weren't buying the
and-
deal like the asset thing.
I
they
think
couldn't-
it.
they
Yeah,
couldn't-
I agree. I think Facebook shut it down because it wasn't profitable anymore.
Yeah.
And maybe there wasn't
so-
big
yeah,
user. The
And I think-
user
I
base
mean-
wasn't there either.
Yeah,
I think
that
Facebook
as
were
well.
hoping it was going to be their equivalent of like Roblox or something, and it just
Yeah,
just
and it
didn't
wasn't.
pull in the crowd.
No, exactly.
But also,
No,
you
and
know,
also-
these companies can have earnouts, so it could be a situation where the money didn't fully exchange hand. They have to hit certain targets over a number of years before the directors get the shareholders get their money, and it may well have been that they never hit those targets. Facebook said,
Yeah.
"Well, we ain't giving you the rest of the money," and they said, "Well, then pull it." Because we're not making any money, you're not going to give. You know, we don't know what. There's always that kind of a thing going on. These guys
Yeah.
don't just turn up and go, "Here, here's 60 million. We own you." They say, "Look, if we're going to buy you, we want to make sure none of you leave, because you're all driving."
Yeah.
me."
Yeah.
I mean, look at Microsoft when it came to when they acquired Minecraft.
Yeah, but
People
also
that made that game.
Well,
you
he
know,
got bored stiff, didn't he? I mean, he ended
Yeah.
up in all sorts of trouble. That guy.
He has all kinds of mental health issues. Like
Yeah.
he's all his friends have basically.
His
He realized they
relationships fell
just wanted his,
apart. And,
yeah, he like
Mhm.
yeah,
It's really,
he said
really
that
quite sad.
all his
Happens when
friends
you're a
just wanted his
gamer.
money, so yeah.
yeah, because
but yeah,
he got by. They paid $1 billion, didn't they, for Minecraft?
Yeah, and look how much that
more.
game is worth
I
now.
think it was 2 billion.
Yeah, 2 was it?
Yeah, 2 billion. I think he got like 75% of it.
Right.
I mean, I could have
So-
put together that game, and you know,
Well, the one that always makes me laugh to this day is WhatsApp for 19 billion. Which is, I mean, that's what the, I mean, they could have written
It
that
is
for a
huge,
fraction of.
though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know they bought a database, but quite honestly, if they could have still generated that themselves, half of it, we've said this before, is they've got to show shareholder value. They make a certain amount of
Yeah.
money every year. They've got to show that they're reinvesting it. If they're not buying some
Yeah.
new tech or some
aren't they?
new,
Isn't WhatsApp supposed to be super secure because it's owned by Facebook? I mean, Meta. And
It's
one of these
using end-to-end encryption on things, so I think that's
Yeah.
that's a big.
But it's, I mean,
security thing.
but it's owned by Meta, and
Yeah. it
they
is.
say it's super
So
secure.
it's
So
not-
I'm supposed to
it's not.
believe Facebook is saying that it's.
depends
Yeah.
what you I think it's
I-
the definition of secure, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean, that
exactly.
doesn't
Yeah.
mean they're not stripping
You know,
out
like,
data to
I
sell on your
my
profile.
phone can be in the kitchen, in the dining room, and I could be like, "Oh man, I want to buy this," and then all of a sudden, Facebook, Google, Amazon, they all start sending me ads for what I want to buy. It's
Yeah.
like, I don't understand how they can hear me.
I watched a guy on YouTube earlier. He was actually promoting a service that was sponsoring him, but it was interesting. That I can't remember the name of the outfit,
It's
but
not been that
it's,
good.
it's something like Saymine, SAYMINE.com. And basically, you put in your email address and maybe your home address and stuff, and then it shows all the companies that have some level of data on you. And in his case, it was about 400. And he'd look at people like Canva, And the stuff they would have on you, like your financial information, I mean, just masses of data. And he said, I only signed up. I never even used the damn service. I signed up for it. I didn't do anything. This service actually then it automatically sends those companies a request to remove your data from your email address because they don't listen otherwise. But it was amazing how much data.
I use Canva. Maybe
Yeah,
I
they're
shouldn't be
massive.
using- Maybe I shouldn't be using Canva.
They just got bought by Adobe for a
Okay, then I'm okay with it.
significant change of cash.
Well, then maybe I will
Yeah.
stay with it.
Yeah, I tell you
I like
Yeah, but-
Adobe.
But it's something just to clarify with the case of Creta, I think Meta is all like the studio still exists and everyone is still employed by Meta. So it's just a game that's closing, and they did say like the time, like it's been in the cards for a while. It was just like now that Stadia has shut down, we decided that like the timing is now.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah,
wasn't much-
I just-
they
I
didn't
don't
really
like the way
blame
they
it on the
worded
Stadia
it.
gods.
Well, no, I know that, but I just don't. I wish they would have, Come on
Yeah.
now, we all know who owns you. We know who shut you
Yeah,
down.
yeah.
It wasn't you
Yeah,
guys
I-
just
I-
making.
No, yeah, exactly.
That's exactly what.
Executive decision.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking as well.
Mhm.
There, it doesn't matter. 10 billion
that's,
Adobe paid for Canva, by the way, if you're
That's a
interested.
lot of money. Yeah, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But that's one closure.
Adobe,
EA
you
closed a
can-
lot of
Adobe,
stuff.
if you want, you can buy Vet Cloud Gaming. I'm up for sale.
Of course you are.
I mean, he's got so many food pics on Discord. He's got he's got an entire food library. I mean,
I got some coming later today, by the way. I took some earlier and
you
had
know
it.
what I did? I used Canva to create a new short. It wasn't food. It was just Muttley laughing.
oh my,
That's all it was. It was 5 seconds of that
Wow.
repeating itself. So I'm like,
wow.
and all it said was "Happy Thursday."
Bjorn is thinking this is the worst possible combination, vet and rock. I'm trying to make this a really serious discussion show, and I've got Laurel and freaking Hardy
it's
on now.
perfectly fine. Perfectly fine for that. But speaking of keeping on the topic, EA have cancelled Apex Legends Mobile and Battlefield Mobile, and also shut down the studio that made Battlefield Mobile.
Did anybody play those? Like, I forgot the.
I suppose
honestly-
not, and I guess that's why. But they also said,
I honestly forgot they were a thing until
Yeah,
I
same.
saw somebody said that they.
same. But they did
Oh.
say though that like it's part of a a business shift with a shift within EA, like to shift away from like mobile releases of that. Maybe because they're aiming on doing what Fortnite does with the cloud gaming. Maybe I don't know. Hopefully,
I think
but yeah,
they just
That's
weren't
another
popular games in general, though. That was the thing.
they just want to make money.
I mean,
they'll do.
those two, even the full versions of them, the non-mobile versions, I don't think. Well, maybe Battlefield. I don't know. I'm terrible at that game, so I don't play it. But I don't. It's hit or miss with mobile games. What works, what doesn't.
very
I mean,
much,
really.
very much hit or miss.
So that and I know Ubisoft's got some mobile versions coming out. Sony's working on mobile versions. Sony, I would trust. Ubisoft, it's like I said, it's hit or miss.
Yeah,
They're
I'm
either going to win it,
Yeah.
or it's going to be a bust, and they'll end up shutting it down.
Yeah, definitely. And also, Epic Games is shutting down Rumbleverse, which is that has been live for like 6 months.
Yeah, that was a big one. That was an epic failure,
Yeah,
if you will.
exactly. But
Yeah.
No pun
but yeah,
intended.
but like the common theme among these games is they were all games as a service games, and two out of 4 were mobile games.
Yeah.
Do you think do you think the industry? I mean, we've seen so many games as service games coming out in the last couple of years. Do you think the industry is now moving away from that a little bit, back to like onto the next
I think
thing?
it's hit a peak. And you've had so many. I mean, everybody was doing games as a service. I mean, everybody
exactly.
hopped on board. You've got sports games, football, soccer. Everybody hopped on board when it became popular, and I think it hit its peak, and that's why you're going to start to see things shift back towards away from that whole area. And I could be wrong. Maybe somebody else will come up with the next big thing, but I think that just kind of fizzled. It hit its peak, and something else is going to take its spot as the new fad or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. No, definitely. And I think, I think we might, There's still like it's still gonna be games as a service. Fortnite is gonna be around for several years.
Fortnite's never going anywhere.
Yeah,
Let's
exactly.
be
And I mean,
real.
Genshin Impact is going. Fortnite's never going anywhere. Genshin
Yeah.
Impact seems to be it's sticking around for.
So I 10 more
years,
Epic's
so.
not gonna lose out too much with shutting down Rumbleverse. I mean, they got
No, exactly. It's more
Fortnite
like
is
cut your
their
losses.
moneymaker. That I mean,
Yeah.
the amount of money they
Mhm.
make and partnerships they have just with that game alone throughout, and it's not just. I mean, it's with Disney, with Marvel, and all of these other things that they with the skins, the add-ons that they get with
Yeah.
that game. That Epic will never lose. That I don't think it'll ever go anywhere until something else can fully take over
No,
that,
you're
and I don't see it.
And I
happening.
think
Fortnite's been
it's gonna
around for
be like
ages.
games as a service. It's a concept still gonna be around, but I think we're gonna see way less games as a service games, especially
Yeah.
on mobile. And I think we're gonna. I think looking at the mobile scene, it feels like we might be moving away from the games, AAA games as a service, and moving more into the AAA single player game for mobile. I mean, we know that
I could see and
the Assassin's
depending
Creed
on
is
the
dropping a
depending on the success of Sony with because they're bringing their big title first party titles to mobile as not as a service but as a single player game.
and
If
Assassin's
those
Creed is
are
doing the same with Jade.
successful, I could see others following suit. The difference,
Yeah.
the only thing that I have a problem with mobile gaming is I know it's still big in the market, but your phone's storage space, the storage, it's the same issue with PC gaming, with console gaming. That's where I think eventually we'll see these companies that'll, others that will want to get into it, but it's where you can utilize cloud tech and, whether it's
Microsoft is
combination of
nailing
both.
it.
I think that's where you'll see a shift, whether it's a cloud only
Mhm.
initiative or it's you're utilizing cloud and local. I don't really know how it'll work with mobile. I just don't see people downloading a ton of space, for something like that when you can get better quality with cloud tech, like whether it's Boosteroid, it's xCloud, it's GFN. I mean, you have
Yeah,
that
I mean,
ability.
you got because also keep in mind these games are not they're not bringing out like the Ubisoft isn't bringing Assassin's Creed Mobile like the Jade as a game you're supposed to connect a controller to play. It's a game for touch input.
Right,
I think
but
that's
the graphics quality. If you're gonna think, oh, it's gonna look great because I played all these Assassin's
true.
Creed
We've
games.
seen a
almost
trailer already,
good,
gameplay
but
engine trailer already.
right, but that's the thing is there's only so much quality wise, graphic wise, you can make a mobile only game look before which is
Yeah.
where like somebody like GFN can make anything that you play on mobile look 10 times better. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
why would you want to buy a mobile only game when you have services like GFN that can make things look I can make it look way better and I have a bigger selection of games to play.
Yeah, and I mean, xCloud has been bringing out touch support for like 5 games a month on average in the last couple of months. They just keep going. So then
I mean, it's gonna get rid of the whole. That's why I don't see the mobile thing as being a big deal anymore. When you've got companies that the cloud companies or the console companies that are doing it and bringing the same games but giving that touch control, it gets rid of the whole mobile game aspect of things.
Yeah,
the old school method.
Yeah. Hey, Hans.
What?
Hey.
What's up, guys? Okay,
What's
so
going
here's
on?
my thing.
Okay.
Let me just jump right in there. So mobile games, what it's the purpose it served was for you to be able to play inexpensive games. So you knew that the games was inexpensive, so they wouldn't look the latest and greatest. So over the years, we got some games again like that. Well, not Battlefield, but we got the the Apex and the Call of Duty, which is great, right? But their version can't compare to the actual version on the console. So I think the thing is that I don't never see mobile games going anywhere because they have a certain place in the market, right? For that budget. Like, matter of fact, when you think of mobile games, you think of them games being free, right? So you get games that's free to play, and they nickel and dime you, but you always say, oh well, it's free, and you could just download, delete, delete. But I think the thing with cloud gaming, you guys got a good point, is that it allow you to have these AAA games on mobile. I just think we're looking at it differently. People typically want to play mobile games because it's not it's a quick feed, right? Don't think of like a mobile Call of Duty. You got to think of like Candy Crush. You got to think of Farmville. You got to think of those games,
Yeah, but I think,
Bejeweled and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I think if you take a close look at how Genshin Impact does it, they have nailed it because they have managed to make something like you can if you just want to go in and do your dailies, for example, like the daily quests that you get in there, those take like what 2 minutes each. That's like you pop down like you on the couch for like 5 minutes, play on your phone, one session of Genshin, you accomplish something and you're done. But then when you finally like have some more time, you can sit either on your phone or you can go to your console or your PC and play like the longer sessions. So they have a mix of both, and like even though when you do the long, like most of the long stuff, you can do in chunks to get to the where you want to go, and feel like you're actually getting somewhere. And I mean, I did a video about like a year back when I compared Immortals Phoenix Rising to Genshin Impact, and like Immortals Phoenix Rising is the better game of the two. But it's not like Genshin Impact. Like they're very similar in their gameplay, and Genshin Impact is designed for like those quicker, like jump in, jump out experiences. Whereas if I want to actually get somewhere in Immortals, it takes me like 20 minutes of gaming, and most of the time I'm gaming, I don't have time to spend 20 minutes with it.
I agree.
I have time for a 10-minute quest, but not a 20-minute quest.
I almost think it would be interesting to see as mobile gaming changes. Does it shift more like iPads, tablets? Because you have the bigger screen, you have obviously more storage space on there. iPads in general have better graphics than the mobile phones do, so they could take advantage better, of a mobile game of something from Sony or any, it doesn't matter who it is. I just use Sony because I know that they're working on those, but because you've got a bigger screen, if you're still wanting to go that route. I think so. You could see a shift in the mobile gaming market. So you have a certain section of games that go towards phones, but you also then you have these bigger titles that go more for like the tablet size.
I think we already have that.
And I don't know. I really don't know where mobile gaming is going to go. I think I want to wait and see what Sony's going to do because we know they're working on mobile games. So I think
but I do think we're going to see
once they launch something and we see how that does with the industry. I think that will set the standard as to where we see it go, one way or the other.
Well, there is a mobile Sony game being made, but it's not made by Sony, but it's Sackboy. So there's a company that's got the license to make a Sackboy game for mobile, but it's just a typical like what's the Tomb game where you run in and you jump in over stuff.
Same. Yeah, it was the same as Crash Bandicoot. They had the license to do it from Sony, but it wasn't really. No, but Sony is working on actually bringing their first-party titles.
Yeah, they have bought a studio. They have bought a mobile studio as well, I think.
Yeah, it's going to I don't know how they're going to do it. Port, remake, whatever they're going to do, but they will be the full games, but shifted towards the mobile side. That's why I'm saying is when Sony launches these, that will determine how the industry handles it, because they could be gearing it towards a different generation of gamers that are geared towards that. I don't know. I think Sony will be the one that can be like, hey, this is how you do it. And if it's successful, if Sony's successful at it, then everyone else will follow that blueprint. And then we'll see that side, the mobile side of gaming, come back. I don't know. Otherwise, it's going to be the Candy Crush attention span type thing.
It's just all about demographic.
I'm sorry, Robot Man. What now?
Hey, you're breaking up a lot there, and keep
Yeah.
that thought in your head and we'll get back to it when you're. I'm guessing you're near that area where it always happens, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to get better service so you can avoid that dead zone.
No, but it's like I think games as a service is gonna get less prominent, at least, which I welcome, to be honest. Ain't got no time for that. But also I think the biggest one for me might be I think if Assassin's Creed Jade, because that is set, like there was a leak of that looked really good. It is the first Ubisoft it's their first AAA single player game. I think it's actually might be the first AAA single player game, not counting Genshin Impact. releasing like it's that is going to be exclusively to mobile. I think that's going to be
Right.
set the seat. Like if that is a success, I think we might see a lot more interest in that space coming forward. And that could be interesting.
Yeah, I could see that as well. Like I said, there's certain companies that you can probably expect that would do a good job if you're doing a mobile only. Like I expect Sony could do something good. I expect Ubisoft has the ability to do that. Microsoft, I don't expect anything out of half the time.
Yeah, Microsoft, they will do everything to it.
Microsoft to buy a studio to do it and then micromanage it and be like, all right, do your thing. Or they'll just wait and see who's the next big success in the mobile gaming market, and then they offer them a crap ton of money, and then you watch it fail.
Yeah, no, I think they're gonna be like keep doing the xCloud with touch support.
They don't. I don't see them going that route because they don't need to.
No, exactly, because xCloud with touch support works great. Like Minecraft Dungeons with touch on your phone is honestly, I think it might even be my preferred way of playing Minecraft Dungeons.
I don't understand Minecraft. I just think
Minecraft Dungeons is essentially a Minecraft skin on Diablo, on like simplified Diablo.
But see, I didn't like those games either. So that's me. I just don't care for those styles. So that's not my interest. Just
but like
my 5-year-old loves Minecraft and then comes in and it's like that and starts explaining all this Minecraft, and I'm like, dude, I don't care. Go away. Go play. Go tell someone else.
Yeah, that's me and my son when he talks
so
about Mario. It's like I don't
understand any of what he's talking about, and then he's telling me about these people he watches on YouTube, and I'm like, I don't care about them. That's my competition. I'm gonna shut them down. And he's like, Dad, you're a loser, and they're better than you. And I'm like, oh. So then I go and sit in the corner because I just got schooled by a 5-year-old. So yeah.
Oh, it is one of those. It's gonna be interesting to watch.
Yeah, I think it is kind of like it's kind of interesting, when you start talking about like mobile gaming, because it adds another layer to it. It kind of reminds me of the launch of those new Chromebooks, and they're really pushing like I think cloud
Nintendo
gaming on it
as mobile gaming. I thought the Switch was mobile gaming.
Right. That's successful mobile gaming. But yeah,
because
when you think of
Nintendo, that's just
I think Nintendo is the gold standard of mobile gaming because you had the Game Boy and every other version of the Game Boy. They had then the 3DS, the DS, the 3DS, the Switch. I mean, that's mobile gaming.
Well, yeah, because they built it specifically for that, and that's my point that I was going to make is that our phone.
Well, those are handheld.
They're not mobile gaming units.
Do you know what I use my phone for mobile gaming? I play Phase 10 and Uno.
Right. So if somebody legitimately uses their phone, I could care less what phone you're talking about. It's gonna heat up, and it's gonna drain the battery quickly because they're not built for that. There's a few games there's a few phones that came out, that aren't big name phones that are quote unquote gaming.
Right.
But the majority of the people that they're trying to push these mobile games towards, they got the Samsung, they got the iPhone, phones like that. They have the Google phone,
the Asus ROGs that you need you need like a cooling thing for and a battery pack, and then you still need the external battery pack strapped to your back.
Yeah, or I think Lenovo released a Legion phone that has such
those things
it has such a big. It has such a big battery. You need two USB-C chargers.
I'm like, but if you have you tried using? I've used those kind of gaming phones before. Have you ever gone and tried like an hour? I mean, you only get about an hour and a half of gaming, but touch the phone with your bare hand afterwards. Yeah. That's like you may as well be planning a trip to the hospital because you're gonna get you're gonna get 3rd-degree burns doing that. I've seen some of those people. I've seen videos of people after gaming, and they're like hot enough to fry an egg on. I'm like,
yeah.
Well, at least, and then I comment. I'm like, yo, you didn't season your eggs there on that phone egg that you got.
Yeah. So I think that's kind of where the issue lies with this whole push towards mobile is depending on what games like that they're trying to push, it's really difficult
Right.
to like make that legitimately your ideal way to play, unless you're talking about like what Cowboy's talking about, games that are specifically meant to play 10 minutes here,
Yep.
20 minutes there
Yep,
type
yep.
situation.
The ideal way to play games is, and to be fair, is laptop. It's a desktop. It's an actual console or the Switch, because the Switch was built for mobile gaming, where the battery can handle that. Phones, iPads. I mean, Apple has done a great job with the iPad to get it to be kind of a mobile gaming thing where the battery doesn't die, like in an hour. I mean, there really isn't games that can push for me to tell how it can really handle. If Sony came out with a full first party game that looked the part that I could really put it to the test, I would try it. But I mean, there really isn't anything out there that I'm going to want to sit and hold my phone and try to not burn my hands because the screen is too hot.
Well, I think if you didn't have, let's say, if you didn't have a console but you was a Call of Duty player, the Call of Duty on mobile is pretty good, man. I played that for a while before. That's a pretty good version of Call of Duty.
Yeah, I will agree. I'm like a legend on the mobile version. I'm just saying, I've never rage quit and I get kills like crazy.
And honestly, the PUBG mobile I always found was more fun than the regular PUBG, than PUBG on consoles. So, and it even have more content.
I mean, my only session with PUBG
that comment though, with his comment about the phones, they're geared for the casual gamers. That's your mobile phone gaming. But for the most part,
if you get the newer phones like with Snapdragons 850 and all that, they're pretty optimized to play. Like I got the, I mean, granted my phone was $2,000, but but you don't even need my phone. You could get $1,000 phone. Well, I'm talking about, not a mid-range phone, but the flagship phones, and they can handle games, man.
Yeah, definitely.
You get a Samsung flagship phone, you'll be.
They're just how many? I mean, but the thing is, there aren't a ton of games. I want to see a AAA style game for mobile, and then you tell me how. Then I want to see it put to the test, because there really aren't a huge amount that we can really determine it's gonna be a thing. I think the mobile until there are, it's geared for casual gamers.
Yeah, because I think like when it comes down to it, the issue that your consumers, like for these game developers, your consumers are going to have to decide what's more important, like me doing like one more match or, whatever, 10 more minutes of this game, even 30 more minutes of this game, and then not have a phone wherever I'm at, or do I need to stop playing because I need my phone to text people, calling, or doing actual important things, right? So I think that's what you're going to continuously be battling against, is like people are like, do I even have enough battery to game on this device because I need it for other things?
But that's why I think like GFN and companies that can focus on cloud tech that work on your phone with the touch screen and all that are going to win out in the long run.
Yeah.
But guys, thanks so much for joining us. I have another appointment to make, catch after this. So before I hit the
Rock's been sitting there waiting. He's like, "Thank God, now I can take over this show." Right, now it's Rock's turn.
Oh, I've just been hanging out for Ant. He's taking so long tonight. I think he's doing overtime.
Usually he's home by now.
Rock's like, "Man, you got to end this. I can't afford this. I can't afford to pay you overtime."
Wait, you guys get paid?
Yeah.
Wait.
Oh, you don't get paid?
Wait, I don't.
Shh. Doesn't happen. EU laws doesn't happen.
It's only a Samaritan. Wait, I don't even get paid. Owing money.
Yeah, but guys,
you guys.
It's been a great show, guys. Thank you for joining us. And guys, what do you have going on upcoming?
I'm still packing to move to Virginia in like 3
going
months.
for 2 years. What are you doing? A matchstick a day?
No, it's 1,500 miles. That's like I have to drive back and forth.
That's what you mean.
And so I
Right.
don't get I get the keys March 2nd. I'm driving
Oh,
up there
wow.
for a couple of days,
Yeah.
drop stuff off, then come back to Minnesota. Then I'll go back out there the first week of April, drop more stuff off, then drive back. Then I'll go back out in May, drop more stuff off, then come back.
Wow.
And then when my kid's finally done with school at the end of May, then we'll go out there permanently.
Nice.
Cool.
So
Is that back to where your family is?
Yeah.
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 That's
Also, that I may make a pit stop. I'm going to try to convince Sony. Sony has data centers in Northern Virginia, so I'm going to see if I can finagle, maybe sneak up all vet-like and borrow one and just bring it down to my house.
Can I just tie a cable up from here? I just plug it in. And
I'll just run it, like a couple hundred miles north, and be like, "Hey, can you
What
put
the
one down
heck?
here?" I just want to test it for you, cloud tech only. I swear.
There's nothing
I
wrong
don't
with
want
that.
it in my house.
Nothing wrong with that.
No.
Yeah. So just packing. Play some Get Packed.
No, I've been.
to practice.
That's honestly, that's how I pack. Anyways, I just throw everything in and hope for the best. My wife is like, "No, we're gonna hire someone." I'm like, "Hire people."
That was a great game.
I can
Or is
do
a
that
great
myself.
game.
It was so much fun.
It still exists. Still a great game.
I know. But between that, I've been playing Gotham Knights. Holy crap! That game's a lot of fun. And I'm gonna be doing a first look at Dead Space next week.
Ooh.
Nice.
I don't know anything about it, but I'm gonna do. I've really been
dead
enjoying
and in
Gotham.
space.
I figured that much. But I have been really enjoying Gotham Knights. For those that haven't played
good
it,
game.
try it. Yeah.
How old is Dead Space now? 2000. I mean, I know this is a remake, but is it 2000?
10 years or maybe.
2003.
10. It just came out in
13?
2023. If you ask the younger kids, it just came out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Martinez, when did it come out?
Oh
He's
man,
already
I don't even
Googling
know. Well, I should have done that.
Somebody
I
I think
Google
it is like 12, maybe 12 years. or
Yeah, it's
something.
got to be, isn't it? I mean, there've
Yeah,
been.
something like that.
This was the first one, and there were what, 2 others?
Yeah, 2 others, 3, a total
Yeah.
of 3.
Yeah.
2008.
Wow.
Ooh.
Dead Space came out in 2008 on.
Well, it's even older than I thought it was.
Yeah.
Crikey.
Yeah.
Crikey,
But
Charlie.
so it sounds like there's
Oh.
quite a bit going on then.
Yeah, I just saw
Martinez,
one of the articles.
what do you-
Dead Space remake doubles down on gross out horror takeover. Oh, it's
What
a
did
scary
you
game.
think?
Damn it, why did I open my mouth then?
Yeah.
About that? Someone
Should
told
have
me
said
that.
that. Should not have said that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but-
Martinez, what's cooking for you?
Yeah, so finally feeling better, so getting back into some gaming. I think right now, since we're so close to the Destiny 2 launch of the new expansion, so I'm kind of getting back into that, kind of getting my bearings back since I've had such a long break of playing it. So kind of focus on that a little bit, get back into that, try to make up some little armor sets and things like that. Besides that, Switch, Nintendo, they just had the $100 deal again, where you can get like two vouchers for $50 each. So it's basically $10 off a game. So
Oh, nice.
kind of take a peek
Some
and
Switch
see what
gaming coming
games.
soon, right?
Yeah, some new Switch games, and so that'll be
You're not
exciting.
gonna-
Jump into some
You're
new
not
ones.
gonna just stream some N64?
Yeah,
From
well,
the
yeah, I might because 007.
Oh yeah, you could do multiplayer as well.
Yeah, and multiplayer.
Yes.
I mean, if you do, let me know. I'll join.
Okay, yeah.
I've got all that. I'll hop in for some
Yeah.
007. I mean, I wasn't any good when it was originally out, but I think I broke like 3 N64s that weren't mine because I kept losing.
Oh, no. I would never have thought that of you,
Yikes.
my friend.
I know,
Me
right?
neither. And what's happening for you?
You know what's crazy? I have a show today, and I have the darndest clue what it's gonna be about.
What?
Yeah, I might just do an open mic that I did last week. It turned out pretty good. I'm on a high from the wrestling league yesterday. It's truly a lot of fun. If you guys, that's the main thing I want to mention. I'm gonna do it again next week. This next week could be episode 3, but just a lot of fun. Something I wanted to do for a very long time, and I finally got to do it. And it's just been great. So guys, come to the channel. Got a bunch of content I'm dropping every day. with live streams Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Channels now your mama knows. So I'm just enjoying this content creation thing, man. It's just cool. And I'm also playing Forspoken. So Forspoken I like a lot. I know some people, there's a lot of stuff about it. All the people I actually talked to that have actually played the game, they've all liked it. But I hear that there's a lot of people who don't like it. But I like it a lot. So
Ray's one of those. He makes fun of it, but you know.
Oh, does he?
It's Ray. What do you expect? I'm always saying it because he's not here to defend himself, so I can't.
You cad, sir. You cad.
Rock, what's up for you this next couple of days?
What's up for me? Did you say?
Yep.
Have we come around to me already?
Yeah.
I better pay attention then. So I've got got Rock Around the Clock tomorrow. Of course, it's Team Rokk Members Friday, and then I'm not saying guest hosting. I'm a guest on Renaissance Men podcast, which I know Martinez enjoys it as much as I do. It's a great show.
Yeah.
So I'm on there tomorrow. I've really got to read the show notes. I've got to give it to Stu, bless him. He writes really good show notes, and it's a great show. I love it, and it just deserves a heck of a lot more viewers than it gets. It genuinely does. So I've been championing it for a long time, and I really hope they break soon. So I'm going on there, and I know they want to talk about wrestling, and I don't know nothing about it, Anne. I know nothing about men in tights.
So maybe Rock should stay up late to do, and Anne's show should be Anne's teaching Rock about wrestling first.
Whoa, funny! It's funny you should say that, because they said to me, he won't, no secrets here, but he DM'd me and said, "Mate, there's going to be a fair bit of wrestling tomorrow because there's been quite a bit in the news this week.
Yes, sir.
So you might want to go and take a pee." I said, "Well, I don't know. Look, I tell you what, we could have a whole new section where you try and convince me that wrestling's worth watching. We call, I don't know, and teach an old dog new tricks or something." You say, "Yeah, we'll do that."
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're really into wrestling over there. They
love
go
it.
They go watch it and everything. So
yeah, they love it. They really do.
Yeah.
So that's me. And then, next week, usual stuff as per every day. Rock Around the Clock, The Rock Show, Rock Around the Clock, Rock Around the Clock, Rock Around the Clock, Rock Around the Clock, Rock Players.
And that's that.
I could do Rock Around the Croc. I could something to do with an alligator. I've got to work on that one. Let's go.
Oh, I thought it'd be like a crock pot,
Yeah, I was going to say
something.
You cook your show. Slow cooking.
No,
slow
mate.
cooking with Rock.
No, slow dying with Rock. If you get me to do your cooking, I can tell you.
Yeah, let's not do that then. And as for myself, I'm probably gonna spend most of my time prepping the big charity event, and that's happening in February 24th through 26th. And other than that, I do need to play some Hitman on GFN, so I was gonna do that before the show today. Did not work because of tech issues. So maybe tomorrow or tonight, maybe even if I stay up late, I need to play a fun little indie game called Showrunner, which is essentially a management game where you create TV shows. That sounds just down my alley. So I've got to.
I tried one of those. I got fired. I thought I had like stellar ideas, and I kept losing money, and man,
it
was like real life. Like, no wonder none of my YouTube stuff works out.
I also have 2 videos that is in the editing bay and have been for the weeks now, so maybe I'll get one of those out. Who knows?
Yeah,
we'll see.
Me too. I should be doing. I've got 3 Rock Around the Block, so I haven't bothered to sit down and edit. I really need.
Same here.
Just so lazy.
See, I'm so glad that I don't do any of that. I just go straight live. Whether it works,
that's so much easier. I should have done that from the get-go, but I decided to do this heavy edited stuff, and it takes
I hate
ages
editing.
to make. I love it,
too much
but
work.
I love it, but it takes too much time.
It's too much work. So I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna go live. If there's tech issues, who cares? That's what happens anyways. Everyone's used to it by now, so someone will be like, "Pat, why's your mic sound like crap?" I'm like, because it's my channel. What do you expect? You should already
That's what
know
you signed up for.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you're here, you know something's gonna happen. If everything works, the internet's probably broken, because there's just no way that everything is gonna work perfectly for me.
And your phone is the folding one, isn't it? That you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the third one. They have a fourth one out now.
Oh wow!
But I skip every year. Like I
Yeah,
feel like
yeah.
the phones they don't add that much the very next iteration. So
No.
I'll wait
Yeah.
till the 5 come out, which would be the end of this year or around August.
Did you have the Did you have that one with that fancy explodable battery?
No, that was actually the Note 7. I skipped the Note 7. I got the Note 8.
Well,
So-
that was like an add-on. I think that was they even told you. I remember when that came out. It was like an add-on feature. You could get the Note 7, or you could get the Note 7 with the add-on. which
Yeah,
was the
that was
explodable battery.
that was known as the 007, the one with the exploding bit.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. Da-na-da-na.
Yeah, they did. They have the same issues with the Note 9. They put out a release. Everyone that bought the Note 9 to return it, give them a new one. Then like a month
wow.
later, they said, "Oops, these ones too. Go return it. We'll give you a brand new one."
What a note. So the Note 7, what made that interesting is it was the first line that they completely canceled. Like they didn't give you any more. The line was done. So that was so if anyone still have one, it's like, wow. Like I know a buddy of mine, they wanted his back and he was like, I'm not going to send it back. I'm just going to keep it. But then they did an update to shut it off. So it's pretty much, not an actual phone. But so in history of phones, that was like a big deal,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
It's impressive.
Yeah.
I suppose you can get.
Yeah, the main
get a good
thing happened was
collector's at some point.
one exploded on a plane. That was like the big
Yeah.
story. And so then they was like, okay, that was real scary. But it wasn't a big explosion, but still, it could have,
Yeah.
just
Could
imagine.
have caused some. Yeah, could have caused them a lot of
Yeah.
damage.
It's a concern.
But guys,
don't forget our other two guests, William and Ray.
Yes, of course, William and Ray.
What
check
are they
them out.
doing?
They've-
Ray, what
Wow.
are you doing today? Oh, they're gone.
yeah, they had to drop out earlier, but they are amazing people. And also, don't forget the people who popped in briefly. It's just Joe was in here talking about
Joe.
the verification process for GFN for a bit with some inside knowledge. which
I had
was
to leave
really
at that
cool.
part. I didn't understand it, and I didn't want to stick around and start asking questions because I felt dumb.
We noticed.
So-
We noticed when you.
We started to stop
I
on
waited
the chat.
until after that part, and then I jumped in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Purple coming in with some insight as well. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's been a really
thank you
good
so
show,
much,
guys. Music you're about to hear is by Al Davies. Music.
Oh, I thought you
Thank
were
you so
gonna
much
say
for writing
somebody
that. Let's roll the outro.